got something that might interest you. Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger. What are you buying? Is that all, stranger? Thank you.
I love roguelikes. So much so, I decided to make a video on some of my favorite ones. That's this video right now. Instead of me talking, let's get right into this piece of shit. Let's start this off with some Risk of Rain 2. This game is great. When you start the game, you only have one character, the Commando. He has a pretty basic, standard, generic moveset, but because of that, it's quite easy to understand how he plays. But as you play, you will unlock new characters that have completely different movesets and warrant an entirely different playstyle. When you start the game, you'll get thrown into some random stage. Every time you start though, it won't always be the same stage. You might spawn in a different place every time. In each stage, there are enemies that want to kill you because fuck you, that's why. But upon killing these enemies, you'll gain a currency. You can use that currency to open up chests and gain equipment and the like. There are multiple types of equipment with varying rarities. Generally, the higher rarity items are better than the lower rarity items. However, the lower rarity items are still pretty good in their own right. There's also active equipment that can be used to deal damage or just heal yourself. There's also lunar items, which have a double-edged sword type of deal to them. To progress through the game, you need to find a teleporter that was placed randomly somewhere on the map. Each stage has this. That's how you continue. Upon activating the teleporter, you'll start the teleporter event, and you'll also spawn a boss. To be able to use the teleporter, you need to charge it and defeat the boss. After completing the event and activating the teleporter for a second time, you'll be transported to the next stage. Upon entering a new stage, there'll be more chests and items for you to gain. And after that, you just rinse and repeat. Find the teleporter, charge it, and defeat the boss, continue to the next stage. But as you progress, you will notice that it does get harder as you play. In Risk of Rain, it's shown at the top right with this difficulty bar. As you play, the difficulty will scale. And eventually, the difficulty just starts laughing at you because it knows it's being unfair. Oh yeah, and that boss you killed before, he's a normal enemy now, and he spawns regularly. But what is your goal? Well, there's two ways to quote-unquote win in this game. The first way is to kill yourself. I'm not joking, by the way. At some point in your run, a celestial portal might spawn. When you go into the celestial portal, it takes you to a hidden realm. Inside that hidden realm is this monument. Activating the monument will obliterate yourself from existence, thus ending your run, because, well, you don't exist anymore. But there is another way. To escape. When you get to the Sky Meadow stage, there will be a primordial teleporter instead of a standard teleporter. Using this will bring you to the moon. If you don't want to, you can just shift the destination to continue playing. Upon arriving on the moon, you will find a rescue ship, but it's been surrounded by a force field. That'd be too easy, right? So now you need to find a way to release the ship. To do so, you need to find, activate, and charge 4 separate pillars. After charging the 4 pillars, it will activate 2 Fortnite launch pads and bring you up to this area that definitely doesn't look like a boss arena. After entering this arena, Mithrix will spawn. And his name definitely isn't a reference to anything. Mithrix is a pretty standard boss. Just keep your distance and chip away at his health. But this is a boss fight, so there's obviously more than one phase. After defeating Mithrix, you will have to fight some of his lunar chimera, and after defeating them, Mithrix will come down stronger and faster than before. In this form, Mithrix is much more powerful. One hit from him can completely end your run. But after beating him, it's finally over.
Psych!
Yeah, every single item you collected before belongs to him now, so fuck you, I guess. But the good news is he has a fraction of the health he had before. As you deal damage to him though, you will start gaining your items back, and eventually you will take him down. And finally, it's over. Or not. Killing Mithrix may or may not have been a good idea because doing so made the moon unstable and it's gonna explode. And you only have 3 minutes to get off of it. So now you gotta race back to that rescue ship and escape. And after doing so, it's finally over. As the ship leaves the surface of the moon, you get one final shot of Mithrix's dumb, stupid fucking head. That goddamn loser. I hate you, Mithrix. And then the game ends. But if you want more content, they have a pretty good modding community, and they have some really killer mods out there, such as new items and characters. Go check it out. But with that, let's head over to our next game. Enter the Gungeon, baby. This game fucking slaps. But it also revolves around practically one thing: bullets. You shoot bullets, you dodge bullets, the enemies themselves are bullets, the bosses are bullets, you are a bullet. That's all this game is, bullets, that's it! There's 4 starting characters. You got the Huntress, the Convict, the Pilot, and the Mercenary, all with their own different starting gear. But there are means to unlock new characters later. But let's talk about the guns. You got your standard revolver, 6 shots, maybe 5, depending on which one. Or something like a sawn-off shotgun. There's also an elephant gun, a big shotgun, which the name speaks for itself. There's an AK with erectile dysfunction. It's okay, 1 in every 5 guns has it. There's a gun bow. There's a bullet that fires pistol that fires bullets. There's a shell that fires shotguns that fire bullets. There's a sword that can block bullets. There's a baseball bat that can send bullets back to enemies. There's even a guitar that shoots musical notes. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. To go along with the weapons are some items. There's active and passive items, like explosive decoy. It distracts enemies, and when it takes enough damage, it explodes. Or something simple like a ration that restores your lost health. As for passive items, you have rocket-powered bullets, which makes the bullets shoot faster and also deal more damage. Or light table tech rage. Anytime you flip a table, you go into a frenzy and deal more damage. Or some cool-ass sunglasses, which slows down time during explosions and gives you +2 coolness. That's right, coolness is a stat in this fucking game, so it pays to be cool. But with coolness, there's also curse. If you have curse, there's a chance that enemies become jammed, like this. With too much curse, the Lord of the Jam spawns, and no matter what you try, you cannot stop him. You can't take damage, and he won't go away until you die. But the greatest function of the weapons and items of this game are synergies. Synergies are when 2 items sync together and become more powerful. Take for example, the Magnum. By itself is a pretty good weapon, but you mix it with the 38 Special, and now you can dual wield both of them. Or the weapon Big Iron, for example, which fires similar to a shotgun, but you pair it up with a scope, and now it fires 1 large iron slug. But even without synergies, just mixing items together can really help out. Like the water gun. By itself, it's terrible, but you mix it with bouncing bullets and now the entire stage is covered in water. And if you get anything that can cause electricity, now the entire stage is electrified. But what's your goal in the game? Well, your goal is, well, to kill your past. To do so, you have to find the stage boss, kill them, and go to the next stage. Eventually, you'll get down to the forge. But after combing through that and getting to the final boss room, you come face to face with High Dragon. This boss fight is pure bullet hell, so you're really gonna have to lock in to be able to win. After dealing enough damage to High Dragon, his second phase starts. During this, he's invulnerable, and he sends a wall of bullets that you have to expertly dodge through. After dodging through, he becomes vulnerable for a few seconds, so you have to use your time wisely and deal enough damage to him. If you don't deal enough damage in time, you have to dodge through the bullet wall again. Once you kill him, you continue past him. Do a little bit of sick parkour. You'll continue up some stairs, find a chest, open it, and inside is a gun. And what do you do with that gun? Well, you kill yourself. Now I'm thinking about it, what the hell are with these games and killing yourself? Like, why is that always one of the endings? Anyway, killing yourself is just one way to end the run, but that's not how you kill your past. To kill your past, you need to do something different. So that means going back to the forge. In the forge, you'll find this lady, who needs materials to build a bullet to kill the past. After doing so, she gives you the bullet. That's that thing right there. So now, you gotta kill High Dragon again. To his stupid second phase, again. And after killing him for a second time, you continue on, get the gun again, and kill yourself. But this time, you get sent back to your past. Every character has a separate past, and depending on what character you are, you have to fight a certain boss. For this boss fight, you don't have any of the items or weapons you had before. You get what you get, and after defeating that boss, you've successfully killed your past. And that's it. Just kidding, there's actually more. So that means you gotta go back to the forge, get back to Hydra Gun, gotta kill him again, do the same parkour again. Shit! But instead of getting the gun this time, you get dragged down to bullet hell. You get the joke there? But I'll leave it at that. You gotta explore some things for yourself. This game also has some really cool mods as well, so go check those out. Alright, let's get to the next one. Inscryption, a roguelike deck builder. And the people that publish this game are the same people that published Enter the Gungeon. This is Leshy. Don't let his solemn gaze disturb you. He's a sweetheart, I promise. The game starts off with Leshy teaching you how to play the game. To play some cards, you will have to sacrifice another to be able to use it. Each card has a cost on it of how many other cards you need to sacrifice. You have a limited number of cards, but there are also squirrel cards, which you have an unlimited number of. Squirrels are generally used as a sacrifice card. Your main goal is always to beat Leshy. To win, you need to tip his scale all the way down. But if your scale tips all the way down, you lose. If you place one card in front of another card, it'll soak up the damage. After the quick tutorial, you get thrown into the game. You have a piece placed down on top of a map that signifies your character. As you play, you'll be able to add new cards to your deck, or sacrifice some cards to make others stronger. You also will be able to find items that you can use later in your run, such as a pair of scissors to cut one of Leshy's cards in half, or a pair of pliers to rip out one of your own teeth to tip the scale in your favor. Soon after starting, you will meet Stoat, someone who is trapped in a card made by Leshy. Stoat asks for your help to put an end to Leshy's game once and for all. But to be able to stop Leshy, you need to continue through his game till the end, eventually coming across the first boss, the Miner. During a boss fight, Leshy will don the mask based on the character he's portraying. To win, you play normally, but the twist is with a boss fight, you need to win twice. Upon beating the Miner the first time, he turns all your remaining cards on the board into gold nuggets. If you manage to beat the Miner a second time, Leshy will reward you with a rare card and you continue your journey. As you continue, you will find other bosses, such as the Fisherman, who is able to steal some of your cards and use them as his own. But what happens if you lose? If you lose, Leshy will blow out one of your candles. But if you lose again, and your other candle goes out, Leshy then drags you into a separate area of the cabin. Here, he gives you a death card, a card you get to customize. You're able to choose the cost, the power, the health, and the sigils it has. When you finish choosing those, Leshy tells you to put your name on the card. When you finish putting your name on it, Leshy takes out a camera. After you create that card, there is a chance it will show up in a later run. Eventually, Leshy allows you to freely walk around the cabin as long as you're not in an encounter. In the cabin are multiple puzzles that you can solve to earn new cards or new items and the like. That's all I'm going to say about Inscryption for now. This game is best enjoyed firsthand, so I don't want to spoil too much. And with that, we're going to move on to what's next. Darkest Dungeon. One of my favorite games all time. Here's basically the backstory. Some guy may or may not have released some Eldritch horrors onto the world, and he asks for your help in exterminating them. He invites you to come to his manor, the Hamlet. But before you arrive, your cart gets into an accident, and now you have to make your way on foot. This is where we meet Renald and Dismas, two absolute gamer chads that are in every single start of every single run. To get to the Hamlet, you have to push through some bandits that are trying to kill you, but you make short work of them. When you first get to the Hamlet, you're probably thinking one thing.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And you'd be right. All the stuff here is run down and broken, but you can fix it up. We'll talk more about that later. Your main goal is to get into the darkest dungeon right there and kill whatever is inside. But obviously, you aren't ready for that. So much so that the characters themselves won't even enter. But before that, you're gonna have to do some easier missions to gather some experience for your characters. Get some provisions, and head out. Each mission has some task you need to complete. It could be to scout most of the rooms or complete all the room battles. You also want to take account of what characters you bring in, because some characters are better suited for some missions than others. Let me actually go over a few of them. Ronaldo's a crusader. He's a bit of a vanguard. He's meant for heavy damage and taking the brunt of the attacks. Dismas is a highwayman. The highwayman is a bit of an all-around character, able to use melee attacks and range attacks. He also does a decent bit of damage and can bleed his enemies. The Vessel is a healer, very crucial to the team. I would recommend having a healer on every single one of your runs. You don't have to, but it's gonna make it a lot fucking harder. The Plague Doctor excels in damage over time, being able to blight her enemies up close or at range. Characters also have resistances to things, and some characters are more resistant to some things than others. Characters also have preferred position, places where their moves can be used. With characters like the Plague Doctor, it's best to have her in the middle or towards the back. With the Crusader, it's best for him to be up front. Going along with the stats, there's also such things as quirks. There's positive quirks and negative quirks. Positive quirks affect the hero positively, like giving them extra damage. Negative quirks will obviously affect the hero negatively, like making them gain more stress or being slower. Speaking of stress is as important as health in this game, because if your hero gets too stressed, one of two things can happen. One, they could become virtuous, could give them a damage buff or can increase their stress resistance. Or they could become afflicted, which they'll become more crazed and lash out at their teammates. Now going back to the Hamlet, you can upgrade buildings in the Hamlet to make things easier for you. As well as your heroes, the more you use them, they'll gain experience. And they themselves will level up. When they level up, you'll be able to increase their equipment and level up their skills as well. Upon getting your heroes to a respectable level, you're going to want to take on harder missions, such as a boss mission. But generally, harder missions also could be longer missions. And the game will give you a camping kit. You can use this camping kit at some point in the dungeon to be able to give yourself buffs or get some healing off before a fight. And every single boss mission will be a longer mission, so you will always receive a camping kit. Speaking of boss missions, there's something I figured out pretty early on. You see, the boss always spawns at the farthest point away from you, so he's going to spawn either here or somewhere over here. Now all you need to do is head towards the place you think the boss is at, get in there, and kill the bastard. And bam, mission complete. That's basically the gist of this game. Also, like the other games, this game also has amazing mods that can add new characters or new outfits for already existing characters. And I urge you to give this game a try. It is amazing. And now let's get on to the final segment. Okay, here's some games I didn't have time to talk about, but I like anyway. Number 1, Bullets Per Minute. A rhythm-based first-person shooter where you have to shoot, reload, and dodge on beat. The YouTuber Funk already went over this because it's a movement shooter. I'll link that video down in the description. Also, there's a big chicken that sells you items, so that's pretty cool. Binding of Isaac. There's nothing I need to say about this game. Everyone's already heard about it. Dead Cells. Side-scroller with amazing character and level design. It's got a bunch of different weapons that warrant different playstyles, so that's fucking really cool. Get to the Orange Door. Movement shooter roguelike that kind of plays like Titanfall 2. The YouTuber Funk already went over this game as well, so I'll also link that video down in the description. Hades. A hack-and-slash roguelike that's based around Greek mythology. You play as Hades' son Zagreus and you're trying to escape hell. That's about it. Hearthstone, specifically the Dalaran Heist mode. It's technically a roguelike deck builder, so I'm putting it in here because I really enjoy it. And I'm sorry if I didn't say whatever roguelike that you like. I'm sorry. I don't have time to say all of them. Maybe I'll do a second video on this, depending on how well this one does. Anyway, roll the credits!